Who says we don't have fun making these videos, right?
This is probably why we need a script. Welcome back once again to Moravian Madness 2020. I can't believe, Dan, we're already down to our final video.
Yeah, absolutely. We had over 30 brackets submitted, and we are happy to announce that in first place is a tie between Reed Lawson and Ben Lippert. Both of them got 15 of 16 picks correct. Close behind them is Julie Atwood, who had 14 out of 16 picks correct. We got a lot of Moravian pastors and a bishop down toward the bottom of the standings. One might expect a little bit different as far as results go, but we'll see how things go today, as we will learn who will be the Unity champion.
A quick recap, you might remember that we advanced on from the first fruit rounds into the September 16 based on your picks. The 30 brackets we received, we took the highest percentage of votes and moved those along. As we continued on and wanted to narrow down to the FRATRUM 4, we used a highly scientific method. Dan, would you like to explain our method of getting us down to the FRATRUM 4?
Yeah, that's right. Very scientific. It's called We're Right and You're Wrong. That's pretty much how it goes. So we're going to use our brackets, which were not in the pool, to determine who moves on to the FRATRUM 4.
Absolutely. And praise for your picks can be sent directly in messages to me. Any complaints for that can be sent directly to Dan. First up is the People's Regional. Some great folks in here, but we narrowed it down to 4.
Yeah, that's right. You should know that Justin and I, even though we did not do our brackets together, I mean, you know, physical distancing and all that prevented that. We really only had one pick that we had to really debate a whole lot. So all of these are pretty much in the consensus with both of us. So for the 1 versus the 4 seed matchup, we both had Rebecca Proughton moving on to the next round. And another upset, the 3 seed over the 2 seed. Comenius is moving on over Jan Hus. So we have the 4 seed and a 3 seed matchup. And going into the FRATRUM 4 is Comenius. The grandfather of education, taught everyone a lesson going through this People Regional. He is moving on to the FRATRUM 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, some tough matchups in there. Anybody that's worried about the Proughton upset over Zinzendorf, read up on Rebecca Proughton, and you can see how she was maybe primed for an upset and to move on in this tournament. All right, Dan, now we're going on to the Places Regional. We've had people, we've had places, soon we'll have things. Lots of nouns have qualified for this tournament. Moravian nouns at that. So let's now go on to the picks.
Thanks for that verbal cue. Herrnhut and Winston-Salem. Yeah, Winston-Salem moved on in a really close matchup in the very first round, but the 1 seed is taking it here. Herrnhut moves on. Moravian Camps continues its Cinderella story, moving on, and it's moving on once again. Moravian Camps in the 7 seed, moving on in this Places Regional. This might be the surprise of the bracket.
Looking at the tradition bracket now, we're going to be breaking some ground because even these traditions have been experienced many times, but this will be the first time that one of them moves on to the FRATRUM 4 in the Essential 8.
Yeah, so here in this very first matchup, Easter Sunrise is going up against Daily Text. Daily Text is moving on in this matchup. The 1 seed really showed up to play in this. Then we have Moravian Seal against another 7 seed that won its first matchup. But Moravian Seal heading on to the next matchup. The Moravian Seal, especially with the motto behind it, had just a whole lot to offer in this. The Moravian motto, our Lamb has conquered, let us follow him, became the Moravian motto in 2016. And 4 years later, now being a senior on the court, it really led its team to victory. So now we have Daily Text against Moravian Seal. The 1 seed here prevails, being the first 1 seed to make it so far into the FRATRUM 4.
Yeah, Dan, I would expect, even as we look at these nouns, a couple colorful adjectives from folks who really love the Love Feast. I think, though, the lack of the strength and the number of times that the Love Feast is experienced in the Western District, where we both come from, probably hurt it here in this bracket, especially using the we're right and you're wrong scientific method of moving picks along. With that, though, no surprise the daily text moves into the FRATRUM 4. If people want to experience the daily text, maybe they could do so with the book, or if they're audio learners, on a podcast by visiting dailytextpodcast.org.
Nice plug.
Moving on then to the HIM regional. Some tough matchups here, some things that have been stuck in my head for a week now, Dan.
Yeah, this regional was a really tough regional to get into. You know, if you were an underdog, you probably weren't moving on. And so is the case here. Both the 1 seed and the 2 seed move on into the Essential 8. So now we have this matchup here, Sing Hallelujah and Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. The biggest matchup that we've had so far in this bracket. It turns out from this colossal matchup that Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice moves on to the FRATRUM 4. So we only have one seed in the FRATRUM 4, along with a 2 seed, a 3 seed, and a 7 seed. A very diverse pick to make it to the Final Four.
Absolutely. As we look at this bracket too now, Dan, I have to think my part in deciding this. I played the alto sax. So my part in Sing Hallelujah, Praise the Lord, if I'd been a trumpet player, probably would have been moving it on, you know? Yeah. Should not this song leap into the next round? Nah, we'll cut that joke. That's dumb. You know, just like any tournament, sometimes you look at the strengths, you think they go on, but it's matchups that brought these 4 competitors to this point, to this chance to be this close to being the Unity champion.
Yeah, and so we thought that since we are getting really close to that Unity champion, we're going to change up the way in which we determine a winner. And in fact, we're going to use another Moravian snub, I guess, that did not make the bracket, but a tradition nonetheless. We're going to use the lot.
All right, Dan, well, you've said we're going to use the lot to determine from our FRATRUM 4 down to our Unity champion. This is a tradition that's been used across Moravian history, right?
The Moravian lot was used to make decisions, a lot of really important decisions. We still use it to determine our daily text each and every day, but perhaps the most significant way that the lot has been used in Moravian history has been the decision to make Jesus as chief elder, which we still celebrate on November 13th today. So yeah, we're using a slightly varied version of the lot with this Love Feast mug and a few of our responses here that we will have as we do our selection. So each time we'll have a different 2 different scrolls, and we'll put them in our makeshift lot, and then we'll see who's the winner.
All right, with that, let's go ahead to the drawing of the lot.
So I got this Love Feast mug, even though Love Feast did not make it to the FRATRUM 4. Well, it'll serve its purposes here. We are now determining Comenius versus Moravian Camps. Here they both are. If you've seen the original picture of the lot, you'll know that we got the scrolls just like that too. So in they go. And here is our winner moving on to the championship game. The Cinderella story continues.
Oh.
Moravian Camps move on to the championship. Wow. I don't know if we saw that one coming, except Justin and I kind of did see this one coming. But pretty amazing nonetheless. This is pretty awesome. Good pick by the lot.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important to say that, like, these picks now in the Final Four, you and I actually had Moravian Camps in our bracket, but our brackets didn't count at this round. So I'm pretty excited to see Moravian Camps moving on into that final.
Daily text, and Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. A 1 seed up against a 2 seed. Into the lot they go. Let's see what happens. Moving on to face Moravian Camps in the final round. Leaping into the finals, Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice.
So I have to say, I did have Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice in the Final Four, but I had daily text moving on, and actually originally had daily text as the Unity champion. I think quite a few folks did as well, thought that number 1 seed would make a run here. That's a surprising turn of events here.
I mean, this matchup, Moravian Camps against Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. I mean, you cannot ask for a better matchup. There are just storylines all over the place. I mean, a Cinderella story against a 2 seed that really expected to be here. I mean, what more do you want in the Unity Championship game?
As we said, moving on then in the FRATRUM 4, we have Moravian Camps, the number 7 seed, and Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. And this is what our bracket looks like down to the final 2. We didn't think of a way to name this, but maybe it should have been the Dober-Nichman round of the first 2 missionaries that went out. I don't know if there's a name for the final 2.
Two left.
The Noah's Ark. Because they're paired up.
They're being sent up by 2s, just like Jesus would have wanted.
Much like Thomas the Twin, there's a partnership going on here. Soon to... That's bad.
You can't have a 1 Corinthians without a 2 Corinthians.
Now, Dan, we're moving on. We have an arc in our story because we have 2x2 moving on to the...
Let's just call it the championship.
All right, Dan. Well, this is going to take us then to our Unity Championship round. So as we're looking at the bracket here, I'm going to go ahead and take that down and get back to you for the lot. Let's give folks a lot of what they've been waiting for. This Unity.
Yeah, I was literally going to say the same thing. There is so much going on here. One could say there's a lot. All right, so here we are. Championship round. We have Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. We have Moravian Camps. Into the lot they go. This is it.
I'm like actually a little nervous about this.
I kind of am too. We have our Unity champion right here. It's right here.
And now a 20-minute commercial break.
We'll be right back. Here we go. Here we go. Leaping for joy. Jesus Makes My Heart Rejoice. Unity champion right here.
That's amazing to me. I don't have a lot of commentary ready. I was kind of ready to talk up the camps and some of the history that I've had there. I guess I would say I have a great memory of singing this song at a convo in Israel, and hearing just the three verses together, and also at synods and things where Moravians just seem to know that you're going to leap on that traditional verse.
Yeah, I've really been encouraging leaping during that verse as well. I mean, this is a song that, I mean, we've probably sang it 100 times. I've probably sang it 100 times. This was sang in my ordination as well. Yeah, just some really good memories, really good feelings, a really good message that goes with this song too. Great winner here. The lot did its job just like it always does.
Absolutely, and I kind of think, you know, we came into this just let's have some fun, let's invite some folks into it, hopefully maybe to lift some hearts and to make some smiles. So what better way than for it to be the Unity champion for this year than just that reminder that it's Jesus who can make our hearts rejoice. All right, now before we go ahead and reveal all our results, one thing that we wanted to make sure we shared with you was the tiebreaker. We didn't have a tiebreaker at the top of the standings, but we did as we went further down, and we used this to help differentiate our final order and standings that will be posted online. I'm going to bring up for you right now the correct tiebreaker number. And remember, the question was the number of days between the founding of the Moravian Unity and the day that the missionaries left Herrnhut for St. Thomas. You can see here on the slide that the date for the founding of the Moravian Unity was March 1st, 1457. And the date that Dober and Nichman set out from Herrnhut was August 21st, 1732. If you look on Wikipedia, Wikipedia is actually wrong. It had August 20th, 1732. But if you went to more trusted, reliable sources, you would know that it is August 21st when Zinzendorf blessed them and sent them on their way to Copenhagen. We did get some questions from folks asking if it was the date they departed Copenhagen, so from Denmark on the boat, which would have been October 8th of that same year. But we were looking for the date that they left Herrnhut on August 21st. Now, we did accept 2 correct answers. We accepted 100,618. That's the number Dan and I came up with. We did accept actually 617 as well if you didn't include the last day, which was fine. And that's by the Julian calendar. If you were someone willing to dig a little bit more deeply, and some folks did, and went by the Gregorian calendar, then it was 100,607. We would have accepted any of those times as well. Dan, how did folks do on the tiebreaker?
Yeah, well, just to say, I think people cared more about the tiebreaker than their brackets in some cases, but we had 3 people get that correct, not necessarily by the Gregorian calendar, but by the Julian calendar. We had Charlie McDonald, Suzanne Miller, and Sylvie Hauser nail it right on the head. So congratulations to the 3 of you. Well done.
Absolutely. A few folks were really close there, so I'm not sure if they took into account leap years or leap days and those kind of things. But certainly if you got it right, it helps you leap up the standings.
Please leave that.
Well, Dan, now that we have a Unity champion, I think it's time that the folks at home have been waiting for, naming the champion of our Moravian Madness Bracket Challenge. We'll go ahead in just a second. We'll list out the top 5 with all of the standings, complete standings, be listed on our website.
Yeah, we got our top 5, and it was really cool to see that we have a youth movement in our top 5. So really looking forward to that. We also only had one person choose the championship matchup correctly. And needless to say, that's what got them to the top. So let's see our top 5.
Congratulations to Scarlett Dowdy. Many of you who go to Laurel Ridge or live in the Southern Province probably know Scarlett, and congratulations to her. And it was certainly on the strength of Moravian camps. Scarlett was the only person to have the game correct, actually, the championship game with both participants. Also, nobody, and perhaps in true Moravian fashion, nobody in the bracket, including Dan or myself, had the eventual champion as the champion. That Jesus makes my heart rejoice. And perhaps just a reminder that Jesus is the great equalizer and loves us all and gives us all the same score.
That was probably appropriate that no one ended up choosing the champion correctly. So now we have an exclusive interview with our winner, Scarlett Dowdy. So with that, let's talk to her.
Here, I'll give her a call. Scarlett! I'm not sure she heard me. She's in North Carolina.
Did you expect that to work?
I hoped. All right, Scarlett, before I jump into a couple questions, would you mind introducing yourself to all our viewers out there participating in Moravian Madness?
I am Scarlett Dowdy. I am currently the program manager at Laurel Ridge Camp and Conference Center in North Carolina.
Well, hello, Scarlett. We're bringing you in and we wanted to interview somebody who was doing one of the brackets. At least that's what I told you right before we came on and asked if it was okay to record. What we actually want to do is let you know that you are the winner of the Moravian Madness Bracket.
What?
Yeah, congratulations. And you did advance Moravian camps as probably could be expected to be your Unity champion. Could you tell us just a little bit about how did you fill out your bracket? What was your mindset going into it? What puts you over the top?
It was hard to say, oh, I just have to pick camps because I'm a camp person. But, you know, bottom line, when it came right down to it, I just had to go with my camps, my gut feeling.
Scarlett, congratulations on your victory. Just want to know, what are you going to do now that you won?
Gosh, I guess bragging rights. Is that how this works?
No question.
All right. Well, maybe I'll need to talk to the director about making a T-shirt, you know, special for this madness bracket.
Dan and I grew up going to Mount Morris in Wisconsin, the Moravian camp there. So you advanced camps along. Certainly they were all part of that line together. But if you had to choose just one of our Moravian camps, how would you make that choice?
Since I work there and I'm closer to there, I would have to pick Laurel Ridge. But my heart is with every Moravian camp.
Oh, that's a terrific answer.
Good.
The outlook that you just gave us is probably as good as the view we get from the Eastern Overlook at Laurel Ridge.
Aww. This is exciting. I never thought about winning. I was just having fun.
Well, that was wonderful to hear from Scarlett. And now that's the end of our Moravian Madness for 2020. It was a great inaugural season, I guess you'd call this. Whatever it is right now, it's wonderful. Dan, I think that everything in life should come down to the we're right, you're wrong bracket choosing system.
Wow. Wow, yeah, that might be a little strong. So we are actually encouraging debate. We're encouraging more learning on this. If you think that the bracket should have come out in a different way, we would love to hear this. Let's spark some debate. Let's talk about our Moravian history and traditions and things like that. So that's what this is all about. Yeah, we had a lot of fun doing this. Thank you to everyone who submitted a bracket. Thank you to everyone who have been watching these videos. In this time of quarantine, Justin and I just wanted to put out just something silly, and we're thankful that you all stuck around to just watch us be goofballs on camera. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all for watching. Tune in to our worship services now, Moravian Church of the Walls, Sundays at 11 o'clock Eastern. You can access that through moravian.org. You can also watch our replays of that on our Facebook page, Moravian Church of the Walls. So thank you all. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, if enough people join our worship services, maybe Moravian Church Without Walls will make it in the bracket sometime in the future.
Yeah, were we our own snub?
Yeah, we snubbed ourselves. Probably for the best.